All right. So I'm going to talk about the future of social media. So here we go. All right. So firstly, where could the future take us, like from like where we are now? So, first, we'll ask like what is like the current state of we'll ask what ourselves what the current state of social media is, and also its importance to looking ahead to the future. And some of the ones that I thought of were that the landscape is constantly changing. Social media is a large part of like societal communication as a whole, and therefore it must be understood. And it could help us understand emerging technologies that come out so that they're not so shocking when we interact with them. All right, so current trends and developments. And so this graph shows the current popular social media platforms that I found on a website called wordstream.com. And I found this interesting because it shows its purpose, as well as the audiences. Those were two things that I thought were really interesting. And one may predict that like features and functions will be popular of like future social media platforms. And by examining these features and functions that are now popular among users, um, we can understand why they're popular in the first place. And this can potentially allow us to stay ahead of the curve of like what's going on. So when more emerging technologies come out, we'll be able to more fully like understand why they're implemented that way. So, all right, so emerging technologies. I'm going to briefly talk about like augmented reality, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence. So, some new businesses might find new ways to create new experiences, and a lot of online retailers have adapted to augmented reality, like powered shopping, enabling customers to try things like even without making a purchase. Like, I've seen in a few places where you can like have something artificially like color your hair, so that you could choose that before deciding like to dye your hair, which is really crazy. So, all right, so to start off, I'll talk about the future of social media in 2027. So in 2021, there were over 4.26 billion people that were using social media worldwide, like regularly, and a number that number is projected to increase to about 6 billion people, which is uh, quite significant. So, some possible trends and predictions that I um, came up with was first that social media will continue to evolve and be more integrated into our lives, like even more than it usually is. It will increase it, there will be an increase of new technologies as well as their complexity, such as AI and artificial, virtual reality and like stuff like that. So, like complex, pricey technologies will become more accessible and cheaper to the general public, such as cars and computers were, because when cars, I think not a lot of people, but now a ton of people own cars. So I think that more like technologies that are kind of emerging now will become more maybe mass produced, more accessible, and more easily like learned about. So yeah, and new laws will be implemented involving privacy and ethics. Um, I think that privacy will also be a significant thing that will be brought up more. So yeah. All right, to move on, I'll talk about the future of social media in 2032. So, um, social media has been evolving rapidly, and it will continue to evolve rapidly. AI, augmented reality, and more like real life like integration into the virtual world, such as like tasks that we normally don't heavily rely on technology for, like how I discussed this a bit previously, that it's like for shopping, it's like, oh, I could just go to a virtual shopping like place and find things and then they'll be delivered to my house or something. And social interaction will increase significantly in the online realm, as Forbes predicted. And the need for online privacy will increase significantly as technology advances. especially with the sheer volume of people using it. People have to be very careful, and there probably will be more heavily implemented laws surrounding that. All right. So the elephant in the room is artificial intelligence. One of the most controversial and kind of perplexing technological developments. Not necessarily bad, but it's currently being utilized. A lot of apps use this. Um, in the reference that I put at the bottom, what they were doing is that they allowed basically Twitter, and this was in 2010, so it's been going on for a while. They were using Twitter, using machine learning to allow it to predict how people will react to future events. And so would it be a useful tool in the future to help, like maybe like prepare, can maybe be for like natural disasters or something like that. And so I predict that something like this will be more fully implemented in the future, something that more people will be aware of. Um, so using machine learning, it will be able to predict things, or like guess with at least some accuracy based off of what like the patterns that it notices. All right, so here's some prediction of how the government will be involved with like social media and the online sphere. So are there any like federal laws that like currently protect against like AI practices? According to CNN, there were not, which is really interesting. And so the White House has kind of implemented an AI Bill of Rights. Um, so like federal like regulations do not directly regulate like artificial intelligence. So digital rights and privacy organizations have like long criticized face recognition software, like example. So they want to like implement like kind of like a bill of rights so that there could be like some sort of like safety there. Um, so the five principles were protection from unsafe or ineffective AI systems, non-discrimination and equitable use of AI, protection from abusive data practices and control of personal data, um, transparency and awareness of AI systems, and opt-out options to um, access to like human assistance. So it's not just completely reliance, like rely on that. So yeah. All right, to conclude, we are kind of in an uncertain time when it comes to predicting the future of social media because there's so many like things emerging. But I feel like having a certain amount of media literacy can help us understand like that sphere and like how social media progresses and stuff to know how to like safely like progress into the future. So we want to make the internet more like safe place so that people can have more effective privacy and be able to use the internet more effectively. So right here are my sources. All right, awesome. Thank you.